and roll them out and then dump them in a mass grave. Now, Brigadier General Rick Baucus, the head of Camp X-Ray, coming up on 2 years ago, resigned. Then they said, no, you don't resign, you're fired. But then he threatened to sue him, and they said, okay, you resigned. And he told the Associated Press, there were 2 AP articles, he did 1 Rhode Island interview. I talked to him on the phone. He said, I can't come on, I've been basically threatened. He said, I can't talk. I love my family. But before he got told to shut up, he said, these aren't even real Taliban or Al-Qaeda number 1, which the LA Times has documented. This is just training our troops how to torture. But he said, we're torturing the daylights out of these people. And they've had, over 14 deaths at Camp X-Ray, where they always claim it was a suicide. And the general over it quit, said in good conscience he couldn't be part of this. Do you know what the London Guardian reported, and the base even had to admit it? Do you know one of the ways they torture them? Do you know what they do? They have Arabs in there, and they'll have their sons in there. And they will beat their sons and electrocute them in front of their fathers. When they round these so-called terrorists up, who aren't the real terrorists were CIA Arabs that are all free and flown out of Afghanistan and Pakistan in the middle of the Afghan war. That's admitted. They tortured their children in front of them. And there was even a CIA section chief in the Washington Post in late 2001. And we've got this in the films, and it's in the torture archive of Infowars.com. And the guy bragged. He said, well, we don't do the real torture at Camp X-Ray. We take them to Jordan and we take them to Egypt, where we can torture them and threaten their families and their children. I was in a hotel in Los Angeles when I was out there taping some Conspiracy Zone episodes for TNN or whatever that channel is. I'll never forget watching Rumsfeld, because if I'd have been at home, I could have recorded it. And Rumsfeld was up there bragging at a Pentagon press conference about how they were torturing people. So here's the double think. Here's the hypocritical nature of the general public. I've heard you on talk radio, you sickos calling in. Saddam's bad when he tortures. And by the way, he was trained by our government, but you're not supposed to know about that. You're supposed to forget history, the memory hole. He's bad. And he is bad when he tortures. But we're good when we torture. I mean, what's wrong with you? So now Joseph Mengele torturing Jews is good? No, I don't think so. Now the Nazis are good. The Nazis told their people, do this for the Reich, do this to keep the Reich safe. And they did it. And I have to tell you, German society was much more moral than the American society until Hitler came along. And he took a moral people and warped them into blood-drinking devils. We're ripe for this type of stuff. From the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, 2 arms on the same beast, the same policies, different rhetoric. That's